Hi, my name's Luke Freeman, and I'll be performing two monologues today, the first from Neil Simon's Brighton Beach Memoirs, and the second from Moliere's Don Juan. I got fired today. It was all on account of Andrew. He was sweeping up the stockroom and he set his broom against the wall to throw some junk into the trash or something, and he tipped over the broom and knocked over a can of linseed oil, all over three $9 Stetsons. So Mr. Stroheim sees the oily hats and he gets all crazy. And he says to Andrew, the hats are going to have to come out of your salary. And I said, I don't think that's fair. It's not his fault. He didn't put the linseed oil there, right? And so Mr. Stroheim says, you want to pay for the hats, Big Mouth? And I say, no, sir, I don't want to pay for the hats. And so Mr. Stroheim says, then mind your own business, Big Mouth. And so he says to Andrew, go pick up 3 new hats from the warehouse, which is usually my job. He says that for this week I'm the cleaning boy, and he hands me the broom. And in that moment, I felt the dignity of everybody who worked in that stockroom in my hands. I swept up a big pile of dirt all over Mr. Stroheim's shoes. And so Mr. Stroheim turns around and he looks at me like there are machine gun bullets coming out of his eyes. And he says to me he wants a letter of apology to put on the wall. And if that letter isn't on his desk by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I can consider myself fired. What? Would you have a man bind himself to the first girl he falls in love with, to say farewell to the world for her sake, and to have no eyes for anyone else? A fine thing, to be sure, to bind oneself to the false honor of being faithful. No, constancy is the share of fools. The pleasure of being the first to be loved shall not deprive the just pretensions which the whole sex has over our hearts. As for me, beauty delights me wherever I meet with it. And if a handsome face asks it of me, if I had 10 million hearts, I would give them all away. There is nothing that can surpass the pleasure of triumphing over a beautiful maiden. And in this I have the ambitions of conquerors. Nothing can restrain my impetuous yearnings. I have a heart big enough to love the whole world, and like Alexander, I would wish for other spheres to extend my conquests. Thank you.